S tier is like mega broken. Play them every game. A plus is very, very good. Like, not, maybe has a one bad matchup, that kind of thing. Very good. A, very solid. B is maybe like super situational. C is probably don't play this, and D is unplayable. That makes sense? So starting us off, Countess. I think Countess is pretty dog right now. I'm gonna put her in C tier tentatively, on like pretty much don't play this character. She gets bullied too hard in mid. She did get a slight buff with the Megacosm adjustments, but I don't think it's good enough. Like, I think I think supports have kind of learned how to play against Countess, and now there are more tools than ever to play against Countess. I think this character is, she just, I don't know. I am really low on this character. I've seen her played 5 times, and I think she's bad. Maybe it's a sample size thing. I don't know. I just think this character with Silentium, keep in mind, Reclamation now, supports can cleanse a Countess ultimate for their carries. Supports can now cleanse Countess ultimate from their carries. Carry doesn't even have to do it. I think, I don't know. I think this character is very difficult to play right now. Because you're going, right now, if you guys are playing support and you're going tank crest, you're throwing. Go consort crest every game, and go either into Silentium, well, all of them are good, but Silentium and Reclamation save your carries lives more often than it looks like, right? So I'm pretty low on Countess. She could, I might move her up to B at some point, because I do think she still has a counter matchup into Faye. I do think she still plays against Faye very well. So like maybe if, like, I do think Faye's good, which we'll get to, but maybe she moves up. But I think she's bad. I think she's bad. Crunch. So Crunch, this is, keep in mind, this is post hotfix that I'm doing this patch, this tier list. Hotfix just nerfed Crunch again. Crunch Jungle, I think, is going to be pretty mid. Crunch Solo, I still think he's good. Even after the nerfs this morning. The nerfs this morning were all scaling, which means Crunch Solo, that literally just buys Mutilator and 4 defense items, really doesn't give a fuck, right? He's losing like literally like 2 damage per ability. Like it's not anything that's really gonna matter. Crunch Solo, I think, is good. Crunch Jungle is probably gets hit by that nerf. If you're gonna play him in the jungle, I would still just build like Bruiser, Hybrid kind of thing. Decker. I think I'm gonna put Decker in A tier. Well, she might be A plus. I'll tentatively put her here. She's good. She's just a good support. Has a lot of peel, has a lot of lockdown. If you're playing her against an immobile team, she's very good. Learn how to use your cage to block things off, not just to trap people in. If you learn to use your cage to like block lanes, she gets better. Pretty solid support. Again, works really well with Consort Crest, so just make sure you're building that. Drongo. I'm gonna put Drongo in A. I've been struggling to find when Drongo is better than the other carries right now. He's very safe to play. You can stand in the backline and do a bunch of damage. I'm not sold on him being better than any of the other carries. Like, is he safer? Yes, but you don't really need to be safe on carries right now. Think about, especially, like, let's say you have a support with Reclamation and you have Liberator. You're super safe on carry right now, right? So, like, Drongo being the safe carry is less valuable right now with how much safety there is in the game. So that's where I'm at on him. Fang Mao. All right, so you guys know me as the Fang Mao supporter. I am the guy who plays Fang Mao. Fang Mao's bad, bro. He got worse this patch. I think they ran all the items you wanted to build on this character into the ground. Augmentation, like, moving from Pain Weaver to Augmentation. You don't want Augmentation on this character. It's pretty trash. The stats are bad. It got nerfed this morning, by the way. Don't nerf the carry items. Nerf Augmentation. I think I could workshop it and find a build that works. I think I could find a build that will work on him. I need to play him some more, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna put him in C, because I don't think he's unplayable. He has a good matchup into tanky solo laners. Well, okay, he has a good matchup into some tanky solo laners. He's good against Richter. He's not very good against Steel. You know, I don't, this character just, the map alone, yeah, I don't know. I could go on for an hour about why Fang Mao is low on this list, but if you're really good at Fang Mao, you can still pub stomp people, okay? I'll give you that. If you're really good at Fang Mao, you're still gonna win games. Faye's S tier to me. I think Faye's the best mid laner. I actually think Faye, she lost a little bit from Megacosm, but she gained a little bit from Megacosm, right? Like, some of Faye's kit, like, some of the things Faye misses in her kit is burst damage, right? Outside of her ultimate, she doesn't have burst damage, right? When she ults people, obviously, she gets a burst damage then because they're stunned for fucking 1 million years. But without her ultimate, now Megacosm gives her a way to poke with a little bit of burst damage. So her poke gets a little bit of a buff from that. I think she's good. I think she's very strong. She's definitely top 2 mid laners. I think she might be number 1. I think her ultimate's really OP. Just learn how to hit your E and poke people out in lane, and you win the game. Gadget. I'm gonna put Gadget in A. She gets hit pretty hard by Megacosm Chain. She was the biggest abuser of Megacosm, and she got her passive nerfed as well. Her passive is already really, really good. Keep in mind her passive. So what her passive does is when you get hit, you get a shield based on your max mana, and then when the timer ends, the shield blows up and does damage. It doesn't deal damage based on how much shield you have when it ends. It just does damage. So even if you have a tank on you and they're hitting you, and even if they break your shield, it still does damage. And it does, I don't know exactly what the math is, but it's something like, it does about a 75% of the damage of her Q, right? So it's an extra ability you're hitting someone with, which is pretty broken. Like, her passive is still very good. But I think she's A tier. She lost a lot with the Megacosm change. Gideon's the other top mid laner. Gideon and Faye are number 1 and 2, literally 100%. I don't think there is anyone that would disagree with this. I think if you're disagreeing with these being the top 2 mid laners, you're hard trolling. Gideon got mega buffed by the Megacosm change. He's twice as good as he was before with Megacosm change, and he got, by the way, he got more ult damage if you're building damage. Like, the damage on his ultimate is unchanged if you are building full damage. I think you still build True Silver against CC heavy teams. Otherwise, just fucking pay attention to cooldowns and try and ult. These are the top 2 mid laners. Grux. Grux is in an odd spot because he has this weird playstyle where he can abuse a lot of the carry items and try and one-shot people with them because his right click applies them twice. But I really don't think he's that good. Like, I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think he's a solid solo laner. Build him Bruiser. You can build Augmentation on this character. Once they fix Overclock, which is the Augmentation movement speed passive, he will be better. I don't know. Grux is kind of meh to me. Like, he's not really doing anything for me. Obviously has a lot of crowd control and stuff, but he's not really doing much for me. Howitzer. I'm gonna put Howitzer A+. I think he's the 3rd best mid laner. Just a step behind these other 2. Got buffed by the Megacosm change. Uses it very well. Very safe. Pretty survivable. Yeah. Long range poke. Uses penetration really well. Missiles hit really hard late game. Downside to Howitzer is that you have to stand still to use your Q. So once people learn how to, do things like hook you and stun you while you use your Q, it's tough. You have to use that shit at max range. Get used to that. I think he's the 3rd best mid. I think Kallari's the only D tier character in the game right now. I think Kallari sucks, man. And it is not, look at this. Okay, these 3 characters being the bottom of my tier list, this is not a coincidence, guys. This is not a coincidence that the 3 main assassins in the game are at the bottom of the tier list, okay? This is on purpose. I knew I was gonna put these 3 at the bottom. I think Kalari is the only unplayable character in the game right now. I think she sucks really, really bad. I think, honestly, I think she is a better solo laner right now than she is a jungler. And I think if you're going to build her in the solo laner, just build crit. Crit items are OP, just build crit, and that's how you play her. Just build crit Kalari solo. That's all you gotta do. Chimera. This is an interesting one, because again, another character you would think got buffed by all the carry changes, but I'm actually not so sure. Chimera's main item that I think was OP on him before was Sky Splitter, which was OP on everyone, obviously, but Sky Splitter's not as good on him now. It doesn't have sustain on it, which really hurts him. And you might be thinking like, oh, well, you know, Kai's passive is sustain. Why does he need sustain on an item? Like jungle clear and fights, like all that kind of stuff, like the sustain matters a lot from old Sky Splitter. So not having that actually hurts Kai quite a bit. I think you're almost forced to go Mutilator first right now, which I just don't like as much. It doesn't power spike you as quickly early game. It kind of just sets your power back. I'm really tempted to just say go, like, fucking go crit on this character. Like, go Sky Splitter Kingsbane, and then I know that those are not crit items, but like go Sky Splitter's Kingsbane and try something like that. But I don't know. I think he's pretty mid. I'm gonna put him in A. Really still good against Rampage, still good against tanky comps, but I don't like that you're forced to go Mutilator first. I don't know. I think he's in an odd spot with the carry item changes. I think he'll get better once people figure out the exact correct builds to go on him. Belica. Belica's kind of doo-doo, man. I don't know. I'm gonna put her in B. I think she's a counter matchup to like something. I'm sure she can counter match up something. I really don't know when you want to play this character. You're talking about a character that has two abilities, right? Like Drone's not a real ability, and then she has a single target ultimate, which, like, even if you look at the other single target ultimates like Shinbi, Countess, and you can, if you count Howitzers is kind of AoE, so his gets a bonus there. Shinbi's does way more damage, plus has the whole infinite range thing on it. Countess's heals her for a shit ton. Belica's does the most total damage out of all of those, but still, I just don't think that she's very good. As long as mid laners with single target ultimates, I think are just gonna be bad. I really don't like that. Like, can you delete one person? Yeah, sure, I guess you could. But her like not having Drone is bad. If Drone stole mana, okay, here's the thing. If Drone gave Belica mana based on the mana she was sucking from people, she'd be good, because you could give up all river buff control and just play mega safe. But it doesn't. I think it's pretty mid. I think she's pretty mid. I maybe like play her into Countess for the stun off the teleport, but I don't even know if you want her then. Like, I feel like I'd just rather have like a Gadget or a Faye or a Gideon. Murdoch. I'm gonna put Murdoch A+. I think he's probably he's better than Drongo, but not as good as the other carries. Pretty mid, very safe. That long range auto attack right now is hitting for like 900 damage, so it's broken. Yeah. Muriel. I'm gonna put Muriel in S tier. I think she's the best support right now. I think she's still the best support right now. Post hotfix, she got nerfed again. The fact that her right click and her Q and her ult all still have the buffs that they had before make her very, very good. She's very, very strong. You can play this character. I think the only carry you don't play this character with is Revenant, and even if you end up with a Muriel Rev duo lane, you still just like run people down. Yeah, I'm just not sold on this. I don't know. I don't know when you wouldn't want this. Like, why wouldn't you want to have unkillable carries that move mega fast, that have a knock up when they go in? Like, this character is just really good. Narbash. I think Narbash is the second best support right now. Out of these top three, I would go Muriel, Narbash, Decker. Narbash is really strong. His sustain's really good. He moves his team around very well. His healing right now is not as useful just because of the carries literally insta-killing people. His healing's not as good, okay? But he does have very reliable CC with Thunk. He has an ultimate that is a giant slow field. March is pretty good. Like, I think he's probably the second best support. Rampage. I'm I'm gonna put Rampage in A plus, I think, because I think he does what Kai wants to do better. Rampage is one of the few junglers right now that can survive carries for longer than about 1 second. So that alone makes him good. His builds didn't really change. Like some of tank items got a little bit worse, but like he just survives better. Like this character, he has hard CC. He can track down carries. If a carry doesn't have a cleanse, or if the support doesn't have reclamation, then, you know, a boulder is a death sentence to a carry. He just survives a little bit better than a lot of the other junglers. I think he has to be a spot higher. Richter. I don't really like this character right now. I think this character is kind of bad. I mean, okay, I say kind of bad. I'm going to put him in A tier. I think he's okay at best. You stand still to do a lot of your things, which in a carry meta means that every time you hook and miss, you are eating 1,000 damage. Even if you hook and you hit someone who is not the carry, you are eating 1,000 damage. Every time you ult someone who is not the carry, you are eating 10,000 damage. On this character, hook someone into your team, try to kill that person, and then just sit on top of your carry. Just ult whoever goes on your carry. Ult, silence, hook them, all that kind of stuff. Just keep people off of your carry. That's literally how to play this character right now. Just think he's not very good. If you hit every single hook in lane, yes, you can win lanes for free. If you're that good, go for it. Very cool. Sevarog. I think I'm gonna put him in A. Similar to Rampage, he just has enough health to walk at people right now, and he's one of the few that has the health to walk at people. I just don't think he's. Listen, here's the thing: is the reason Sevarog was good like last patch, okay, is that the items that let him do damage, which are things like Fire Blossom, Tainted Guard, what's the other one? Crystalline. Those things that let this character do free damage while building defense. He doesn't get to take as much damage now. He just dies too fast, right? Like he just takes more damage, which means those items have less time to do damage. So that's why I think he's only A. He dies too fast. Like those items all take time to do their damage, and he dies too fast. He dies, you know, 5 seconds faster than he did before, but with all of those items going, 5 seconds is quite literally like 800 damage that you're losing, right? So he just dies a little too fast. Sparrow. I think Sparrow is... I'll do Sparrow and Rev at the same time. I don't usually go out of order here. But Sparrow and Rev are the top 2 carries. If I had to order this, I think Rev is better. I think Rev is number 1. I think Sparrow is number 2. These items these characters just use the items too well. Revenant, if you guys have somehow not experienced it yet, quite literally 2-shots people. Sparrow quite literally 2-shots your entire team all at the same time. With her ultimate, and she's unkillable because she has 10 healing items that are Kingsbane, and she has, you know, fucking 50% crit and 20 billion penetration. These characters are just good, man. Like, they just use the items are... Okay, let's be clear. The items are what's broken. These 2 characters, I think, just use them the best. So that's why they're up here, I think. Steel. I don't know, man. I'm low on Steel. Solo lane, don't play him. Support jungle, I think I'm gonna put him B tier. Like it's here's the thing, it's hard to put Steel lower on tier lists, because the thing about Steel is, even if you're like, let's say I'm playing gym jungle, and let's say I at 15 minutes rolls around, I disconnect for 20 minutes. I come back and I'm a level 7 Steel. I can still hit a 3-man ultimate and win a fight, right? Like, that's the thing about this character, right? Is that literally if he did 0 damage, he could still be playable because of how much CC he has, how much disruption he has. Like, this character could still be useful. I think that he is... I'm putting him a little lower here because I think that... And he could be A. He could be A. he's just tough to play. Like your wall is good against carries, yes. But you do have to commit your whole body to a fight. Like you if you don't have an ult, you're hard W keying. You're literally just walking at people to try and get engages. I don't know. I don't think he's good as a solo laner. I think he's okay as a support. You lose lane if you play this character in support pretty much. As jungle, you should get your jungle farmed by the enemy jungler. If you are if you're playing this in jungle, you should just get farmed. I don't know. I think he's just okay. Like late game, yes, steal is good. But if you bully a steal properly for the first 20 minutes of a game, I think that he looks much worse. Still looking like an EU tier list. I don't even know what that means, bro. Shinbi. I'm gonna put Shinbi in B tier. I think she's the best of the assassins. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think Shinbi is the best of the assassins. I think she's still bad. I would not play her in the jungle. She's borderline unplayable in the jungle, okay? As a solo laner, I think Shinbi is decent. She matches up very well into any tanky solo laner because she has poke and you're building Megacosm first anyway, which means that you end up with a decent amount of poke early game on this character. In the solo lane, like if you're playing this, you can play Shinbi into Grux, Richter, Steel, Sevarog. All those characters, this character Shinbi's good against. I think you don't play her in the jungle. Her clear is bad. I think that you play her in the solo lane where she can sit there and poke these enemy tanky solo laners that have to walk up to the wave. Just sit there and poke them. And then once you get Megacosm online, your poke gets way better. Your clear gets really good. You have 1v1 potential, even against tanks. I think she's decently playable in the solo lane. I wouldn't pick her every game. I would not pick her every game. But as a counter matchup, I think she's okay. Listed Shinbi below those other offlaners. Yes, I did. The thing about Grux or Sev or Richter is that you could pick them every single game and you would be just fine. If you pick Shinbi into I don't know what you'd play her into. If you pick Shinbi into a crunch solo, you're gonna get farmed, right? Like if I top pick Shinbi solo and then the enemy next picks crunch solo, I'm gonna get farmed. But if they pick their solo laner first, I can counter it. That's why she's below them. It's a counter matchup. She is not as good normally, but she is good in that matchup. But I fixed the assassin class. I would make a new map is what I would do, Zippy. The map right now does not lend to assassins being viable. They also kind of butchered a lot of the assassin items. I know that they said that the assassin items got buffed, but a lot of them got worse, in my opinion. At least for the characters that they should be built on. I think they got worse. What's wrong with the map? It's too tight. Can't believe Kalari's D tier. Do you think Kalari shouldn't be D tier, Swan? Or are you just sad that she's bad? The map is too tight is the reason. Like, it's too curvy. There's no way into the back line. The way that the map is so curvy, it forces you to round corners to even make fights. So there's really no backline mid fight. It is backline, here's the fight, you know? So if you try to Feng Mao dash into their backline, their support's going to turn around and CC you, right? Because their backline is their front line also.